back. Um, Left off where Devin Jones was that guy, man. Saved a little girl life, man. He was one of the top guys now. Newspaper headlines, um, you know, killing it. Even though all of this was happening to him, he wanted to like, he wondered if he could rub it in Wendy's face, just to show her, like, look at the man that I am now. Look at the man that you left. Or look who I am now. Look at what I'm doing. But apparently he didn't like the way he was looking in the newspaper, so no point. But yeah, that's low-key the summary of what I read yesterday. I don't know where I left off though. Damn, sorry. I'm looking at where I left off yesterday. There really was a murder, I said. A girl named Linda Gray. She was from Florence, South Carolina. There are pictures of her and the guy who killed her at the shooting gallery and standing in line at the Whirly Cups. No hook, but there was a tattoo of a bird on his hand. A hawk or an eagle. That silenced him, at least for the time being. Lane Hardy said that Rose only thinks her house is haunted because she won't go inside and find out for sure. She won't even go near it if she can help it. Lane thinks that's ironic because he says it really is haunted. Aaron made her eyes big and round and scooted a little closer to the fire, probably for effect. Mostly I think so that Tom would put his arm around her. I don't know. He said to ask Miss Shoplaw, and she gave me the whole story. I ran it down for them. It was a good story to tell at night, under the stars, with the surf rolling and the beach fire just starting to burn down to coals. Even Tom seemed fascinated. Does she claim to have seen Linda Gray? He asked when I finally ran down. La Shoplaw. I mentally replayed her story as she told me on the day I rented a room on the second floor. I don't think so, she would have said. He nodded, satisfied. A perfect lesson in how these things work. Everyone knows someone who's seen a UFO, and everyone knows someone who's seen a ghost. Hearsay evidence. Inadmissible in court. Me. I'm a doubting Thomas. Get it? Tom Kennedy, doubting Thomas. Aaron threw him a sharper elbow. We get it. She looked thoughtfully into the fire. You know what? Summer's 2/3 gone, and I've never been in the JOYLAND scream shot a single time. Not even the baby part up front. It's a no photo zone. Brenda Rifferty told us it's because lots of couples go in there to make out. She peered at me. What are you grinning about? Nothing. I was thinking of La Shoplaw's late husband going through the place after late gate and picking up cast cast off panties. Have either of you guys been in? We both shook our heads. HH is Dobie team jobs, Tom said. Let's do it tomorrow. All three of us in one car. Maybe we'll see her. Go to Joyland on our day off when we could spend it on the beach, Tom asked. That's masochism at its very finest. This time, in spite of giving him an elbow, she poked him in the ribs. I didn't know if they were sleeping together yet, but it seemed likely. The relationship has certainly become very physical. Poop on that. As employees, we get in free. And what does the right take? 5 minutes. 5 minutes? I think a little longer. I said 9 or 10. Plus some time in the baby part. Say 15 minutes. Also, Tom put his chin on her head and looked at me through the fine cloud of her hair. Poop on that, she says. You can tell that here is a young woman with a fine college education. Before she started hanging out with sorority girls, she would have said shitski and left it at that. The day I start hanging out with that bunch of half-starved, mixed and matched sluts will be the day I crawl up my own ass and die. For some reason, this vulgarity pleased me to no end, possibly because Wendy was a veteran mixed and matcher. You, Thomas Patrick Kennedy, are just afraid we will see her, and you have to take back all those things you said about Madame Fortune and Ghost and UFOs and timers ends. I give up. We'll get in the line with the rest of the rubes, the conies, and take the horror house tour. I only insisted being the afternoon. I need my beauty rest. You certainly do, I said. Did I skip a page? Coming from someone who looks like you, that's pretty funny. Give me a beer, Jonesy. I give him a beer. Tell us how it went with the Steinsfield, Aaron said. Did they blubber all over you and call you their hero? That was pretty close, but I didn't want to say so. The parents were okay. The kid sat in the corner, reading screen time and saying she spied Dean Moy with her little eye. Forget the local color and cut it to the chase, Tom said. Did you get any money out of it? I was preoccupied with thoughts of how the little girl announcing the celebrities with such reverence could have been in a flatline coma instead, or in a casket. Thus, distracted, I answered honestly. The guy offered me $500, but I wouldn't take it. Tom goggled. Say what? I looked down at the remains of the s'mores I was holding. Marshmallow was drooling onto my fingers, so I tossed it into the fire. I was full anyway. I was also embarrassed and pissed off to be feeling that way. That the man's trying to get a little business up and running, and based on the way he talked about it, it's at the point where it could go either way. He's also got a wife and kid, with another kid coming soon. I didn't think he could afford to be giving money anyway. He couldn't? What about you? I blinked. What about me? To this day, I don't know if Tom was genuinely angry or faking it. I think he might have started out faking, then gathered steam as full understanding of what I'd done struck him. Would have struck me too. I have no idea exactly what his own situation was, but I know he was living from paycheck to paycheck and had no car. When he wanted to take Aaron out, he borrowed mine and was careful, punctilious, I should say, about paying for the gas he used. Money mattered to him. I never got the sense he completely owned him, but yes, it mattered to him a great deal. You're going to school on a wing and a prayer, same as Aaron and me, and working at JOYLAND. And working at JOYLAND isn't going to land any of us in a limousine. What's wrong with you? Did your mother drop you on your head when you were a baby? Take it easy, Aaron said. He paid no attention. Do you want to spend the fall semester next year getting up early so you can pull dirty breakfast dishes off a Commons conveyor belt? You must. You must. Because 500 a semester is about what it pays at Rutgers. I know. I know because I checked before looking into a tutoring gig. You know how I made it through freshman year, writing papers for rich frat boys, majoring in advanced beerology. If I'd been caught, I could have been suspended for a semester or tossed completely. I'll tell you what your grand gesture amounted to. Giving away 20 hours a week you could have spent studying. He heard himself ranting, stopped and raised a grin, or chatting up, or chatting, or chatting up, or, or chatting up, list some feelings, or chatting up, list some females. Lissom, or chatting up, list some females. What does that even mean? I'll give you Lissom, Aaron said, and pounced on him. They went rolling across the sand, Aaron tickling and Tom yelling, with a notable lack of conviction, for her to get off. That was fine with me, because I did not care to pursue the issues Tom had raised. I had already made up my mind about some things. It seemed, and all that remained was for my conscious mind to get the news. The next day, at 3:15, we were in line at her house. A kid named Brady Waterman was agent, agenting, agenting the shot. I remember him because he was also good at playing Howie, but not as good as I was. I felt compelled to add, strictly in the cause of honesty. Although quite stout at the beginning of the summer, Brady was now slim and trim. As a diet program, wearing the fur wearing the fur had Weight Watchers beat 6 ways to Tulsa. What are you guys doing here? He asked. Isn't your day off? Isn't it your day off? We had to see JOYLAND's one and only dark ride, Tom said, and I'm already feeling a satisfying sense of dramatic unity. Brad Waterman and Horror House. It's the perfect match. He scowled. You're all gonna try to cram into one car, aren't you? We have to, Erin told him. Then she leaned close to one of Brad's juggy ears and whispered, It's a truth or dare thing. As Brad considered this, he touched the tip of his tongue to the middle of his upper lip. I could see him calculating the possibilities. The guy behind us spoke up. Kids, could you move the line along? I understand there's air conditioning inside, and I could use some. Go on, Brad told us. Put an egg in your shoe and beat it. Coming from Brad, this was revelation wit. Any ghosts in there? I asked. Hundreds. And I hope they all fly right up your ass. We started with mysterious mirror mansion, pausing briefly to regard ourselves drawn tall or smash squat. With that minor giggle accomplished, we followed the tiny red dots on the bottoms of certain mirrors. These led us directly to the Wax Museum. Given this secret roadmap, we arrived well ahead of the rest of the current group, who wandered around, laughing and bumping into the various angled pints of glass. To Tom's disappointment, there were no murderers in the Wax Museum, only poles and celebs. A smiling John F. Kennedy and a jumpsuited Elvis Presley flanked the doorway. Ignoring the "Please do not touch" sign, Erin gave Elvis' guitar a strum. Out of two, she began. Then recalled as Elvis jerked to life and began singing, Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Gotcha, Tom said gleefully and gave her a hug. Beyond. Gotcha, Tom said gleefully and gave her a hug. Beyond the Wax Museum was a doorway leading to the barrel and breach room, which rumbled with machinery that sounded dangerous. It wasn't, and studded with strobe lights of conflicting colors. Aaron crossed to the other side of on the shaking. tilting Billy Goat's bridge, while the macho man accompanying her dared the barrel. I stumbled my way through, reading like a drunk, but only falling once. Tom stopped in the middle, stuck out his hands and feet so he looked like a paper doll, and made a complete 360 that way. Stop it, you goof. You break your neck, Aaron called. He won't even if he falls, I said. It's paddle. Tom rejoined us, grinning and flushed to the roots of his hair. That woke up brain cells that have been asleep since I was 3. Yeah, but what about all the ones he killed? Aaron asked. Next came the tilted room, and beyond that was an arcade filled with teenagers playing pinball and skee ball. Aaron watched the skee ball for a while, with her arms folded beneath her breast and a disapproving look on her face. Don't they know that's a complete butcher game? People come here to be bushed, I said. It's part of the attraction. Aaron sighed, and I thought Tom was a cynic. On the far side of the arcade, beneath the glowing green school, was a sign reading, "Horror House lies beyond. Beware, pregnant women and those with small children may exit left." We walked into an antechamber filled with the echoing record cackles and screams. Pulsing red light illuminated a single steel track and a black tunnel entrance beyond. From deep within it came rumbles, flashing lights, and more screams. These were not recorded. From a distance, they sounded particularly happy, but probably they were, some at least. Eddie Parks, proprietor of Horror House and boss of Team Doberman, walked over to us. He was wearing rawhide gloves and a dog top, so old it was faded to no color at all, although it turned blood red each time the lights pulsed. He gave us a dismissive sniff. Must have been a damn boring day off. Just wanted to see how the other half lives, Tom said. Tom said. Erin gave Eddie her most radiant smile. It was not returned. 3 to a car, I guess. That's what you want? That what you want? Yes, I said. Fine with me. Just remember that the rules apply to you, same as anyone else. Keep your fucking hands inside. Yes, sir, Tom said, and gave a little salute. Eddie looked at him the way a man might look at a new species of bug and walked back to his controls, which consisted of 3 shifter knobs sticking out of a waist-high podium. There were also a few buttons illuminated by a tensor lamp bent low to minimize its less than ghostly white light. Charming guy, Tom muttered. Erin hooked an arm into Tom's right elbow and my left, drawing us close. Does anyone like him? She murmured. No, Tom said, not even his own team. He's already fired 2 of them. The rest of our group started to catch up, just a train filled with laughing conies, plus a few kids crying whose parents probably should have heeded the warning and exited from the arcade. Arrived. Erin asked one of the girls if it was scary. The scary part was trying to keep his hands where they belong, she said, then squealed happily as her boyfriend first kissed her neck, then pulled her toward the arcade. We climbed aboard, 3 of us in a car designed for 2, made for an extremely tight fit, and I was very aware of Erin's thigh pressing against mine and the brush of her breast against my arm. I felt a sudden and far from unpleasant southward tingle. I would argue that, fantasies aside, the majority of men are monogamous from the chin up. Below the belt buckle, however, there's a wahoo stampeder who just doesn't give a shit. Hands inside the car. Eddie Parks was yelling in a bored to death monotone that was the complete antithesis of a cheerful Lane Hardy's pitch. Hands inside the car. You got a kid under 3 feet. Put him in your lap or get out of the car. hold still and watch for the bah. The safety bars came down with a clank, and a few girls tuned up with the pre- pre- preparatory screams, clearing their vocal cords for dark ride areas to come. You might say there was a jerk. There was a jerk, and we rode into our house. 9 minutes later, we got out and exited through the arcade with the rest of the tip behind us. We could hear Eddie exhorting his next bunch to keep their hands inside the car and watch out for the bar. He never gave us a look. The dungeon part wasn't scary because all the prisoners were dobies, Aaron said. The one in the pirate outfit was Billy Ruggiero. Her color was high. Her hair was mussed from the blowers, and I thought she had never looked so pretty. But the screaming school really got me in the torture chamber. My God, pretty gross. I agreed. I seen a lot of horror movies during my high school years and thought of myself as a nerd, inu red. But seeing an eye bulging head come rolling down an inclined trail from the guillotine had jumped the shit out of me. I mean, the mouth was still moving. Out on JOYLAND Avenue again, we spotted Cam Jurgensen from Team Foxhound selling lemonade. Who wants one? Aaron asked. She was still bubbling over. I'm buying. Sure, I said. Tom? He shrugged his assent. Aaron gave him a quizzical look, then ran to get the drinks. I glanced at Tom, but he was watching the rocket go around and around, or maybe looking through it. Aaron came back with 3 tall paper cups, half a lemon bobbing on top of each. We took them to the benches in JOYLAND Park, just down from the wiggle waggle, and sat in the shade. Aaron was talking about the bats at the end of the ride. How she knew they were just wind up toys on wires, but bats had always scared the